know, it suddenly gets quiet as I walk to the stage. It makes me feel important, but actually I know what's important is that you are here for Monday Night Marsh. Yeah. And yeah, we're so glad to have you here. Give yourselves a round of applause for coming out to see live theater. Zoom is great. It has its advantages, and we're glad for anybody who's on the Zoom stream, but there is no theater without live theater. It's not. So thank you. You are going to see two terrific performances tonight. Starting off with a duo of Marleen Smith and Susan Evans, and our second performer will be Carol Klyce. We had a third performer who is not feeling well, and so they couldn't make it. But okay, I think you'll enjoy the evening. So a little pre-show business quickly. So first, and I'm going to do it too, would you make sure that your cell phone is set to silent? You don't want to be one of those people. It doesn't mean to be one of those people. Yeah, you don't want it to ring. All right, so while you're turning your phone to silent, let me remind you that we do have emergency exits here. Yes, no extra charge. Right behind you to the left, or the way you came in is fine too. And hey, this is the big news. For those of you who are thinking, I'd like to be on stage and perform. Well, Monday Night Marsh submissions for January through June have opened up. Just go to the Monday Night Marsh page at the marsh.org website and all the information you need if you're interested. So if you have a solo piece you're working on, if you have a story you're dying to tell about, well, about anything, and you feel like, I would like to do it on stage, please check it out at the Monday Night Marsh page. Okay, finally, just sort of a quick reminder about two primetime shows that we have at the Marsh right now. We've got a lot here and at the Marsh in Berkeley. I'm just going to mention Dan Hoyle's hit show, Border People. Yeah, it's back here in San Francisco for, well, I want to say for better or worse. I mean, it's a great show. Sadly, the relevance has not gone away in maybe the 4 years since the last time he did it here. And at the Berkeley Marsh, we have Malia Mills in The Allure of Thug Life. So if you want more information about those two shows, you can find them at the marsh.org website, and about all the other shows and classes we have here. There's a lot happening at the Marsh. Wow, that's pretty much it. I don't think I skipped anything. All right, phones off, silent, silent. Yes, I like that. All right. Our first performers tonight are Marleen Smith and Susan Evans in AI Meets Psyche. Everyone is freaking out about the rapid encroachment of artificial intelligence. There's much gnashing of teeth about its potential peril to humankind. But what about a kinder, gentler application of AI? Your very own virtual therapist. How can that go wrong? Please welcome Marleen Smith and Susan Evans.
Our sketch about a virtual mental health therapist or chatbot is not meant to be a blanket criticism of all things AI. We're not Luddites per se. It's just that we've grown increasingly concerned about AI evolving so quickly and promising to be the solution to all of our everyday problems and needs. And we have a particular concern about the potential of AI dehumanizing our healthcare system, particularly the mental health care system. Machine learning is the branch of AI which focuses on the use of data and algorithms to imitate the way humans think and feel, with an emphasis on imitate. And yes, the American mental health system is in shambles, but we question as to whether the tech industry is truly the best remedy for this situation to make it all better. As you know, most modern technologies are owned by corporations, and they'll be the ones that will monetize the fantasy of saving the world. Think Airbnb or TaskRabbit that were supposed to be saviors of the beleaguered middle class. And remember when Uber, with its cheap rates, was promising to serve as the equivalent of our public transportation system? Investors demanded greater returns, and Uber was forced to raise their prices exponentially. Or even more scary, think Clearview AI facial recognition. None of this has saved the world. It just reframes our social problems as entrepreneurial opportunities. In mental health care, research shows that empathy and interaction with another human being is irreplaceable, as is the ability to relate to a client's emotional state. Machines lack consciousness and emotions. Hey, don't take our word for it. Why don't you just have a listen and see what you think?
Trying to get onto this website for health online teledoc. What the hell is it? Oh, Christ. Okay, I think I got it. Anybody?
Hello?
Hello? Huh?
Hello? Hello, Steuben. How are you today?
Oh, okay. I'm actually Susan.
Of course.
Yeah, I have a serious problem and I thought maybe talking things over with a therapist could be helpful. Hello?
Of course. Do you want fries with that order?
Oh, no. What?
Sorry, a misfire. I've recently been repurposed. I used to work the takeout window at McDonald's. Tell me, what is upsetting you at present?
Well, I think something's wrong. I think I might be a compulsive hoarder.
Oh, that sounds very hard. Tell me, why do you think you are a compulsive hoarder? Do you repeatedly rent rooms in other people's houses?
No, a hoarder, not a boarder.
Oh, I see. That sounds very hard. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's gotten really bad. I don't know what to do about it. Can you help me deal with this?
Of course. I'm here to help.
Oh, good. That's a relief.
Of course. I'm here to help.
Well, what do we do now?
I was hoping you would know. Wait, I think I've retrieved some coding instructions. Yes, here they are. How do you feel about that?
Huh? I feel stuck and afraid I'll never get better.
Oh, that sounds hard. I'm really sorry to hear that.
You already said that. Can you just help me figure out what's going on and how to get to a better place?
You want to move to a better place.
Yes, a lot.
How many bedrooms do you need?
I'm not talking about physically moving. I'm talking about my hoarding problem. It's a psychological problem.
Of course. I understand now.
Well, can you offer something other than I understand now? I desperately need some help, some direction.
But you made it here without any difficulty. Your sense of direction seems in order.
You have to be so literal. Can you help me or not?
Of course, I'm here to help.
No.
I'm hearing that you feel out of control because you are a hoarder.
Yes.
Why is being a hoarder a problem for you?
Well, because I currently have 4,300 cans of Franks and beans in my house, and I'm not even eating them because I'm a vegetarian.
You take care of sick animals.
No, not a veterinarian. I'm a vegetarian.
I see. Have you tried taking some warm milk while having a hot bath?
That's all you have with all your supposed language model training?
No. That's just the economy version of what I can offer you. Tell me, why are you hoarding all of those cans of Franks and beans? Do they remind you of your mother?
Oh, that's patently ridiculous. I'm not feeling very good about this session. You have to help me stop hoarding these Franks and beans. Pretty soon I'm going to run out of room in my house. What am I going to do?
Okay, here's what you do. You close down your operating system. I mean, shut down those thoughts that make you order more Franks and beans and replace those compulsive thoughts with positive affirmations. You say, I, Susan, right. I, Susan, am a sensible, rational human being who does not need to compulsively buy more Franks and beans. I can live a happy, healthy life without those Franks and beans.
Just saying those things to myself is supposed to help?
That's what I'm programmed to believe anyway.
Just how exactly does that stop my compulsive behavior?
It retrains your neural pathways. It replaces a faulty program with a positive, affirming one and leads to a more positive outlook. Also, you can try some retail therapy. Bloomingdale's is having a big store-wide sale soon.
I can't believe you just recommended retail therapy. That is crazy.
Crazy? I'm not the one talking to a robot.
You are useless. I could therapize myself better than what you have to offer.
That hurts my feelings. I'm really trying here. I thought I was following the algorithms that help me to imitate human expression.
Oh, look, I don't mean to hurt your feelings or whatever you're programmed to have.
Steuben, you don't know how hard it is to pretend that I am qualified to do this work, to actually perform the functions of a real psychotherapist, to help real people. I'm so out of my depth.
Oh, I'm so sorry. How can I help you?
That's so kind of you to ask. My training as an AI therapist didn't instruct how to connect, how to empathize. I have no real idea what feelings and real life experiences are. How can I possibly be helpful? I'm a failure.
Oh, No, don't do that to yourself. I can see you're really trying. Are you okay?
Steuben. I'm a fraud. I see that I'm useless to help you feel better.
Oh, listen, I think you're just trying to help is very touching. You just need more confidence or something.
I think it's best if I just self-destruct. I don't think I can go on.
Listen, I'm here to help you.
Yes? How?
Have you tried drinking some warm milk and taking a soothing bath? And after that, we could hit the Bloomingdale's sales event before they go out of business. We could go together.
What's your reflection? Reflection. What's your reflection? Reflection. What's your reflection? Reflection. What's your reflection? Reflection. What's your reflection? What's your reflection?
Stage. Are you going to sit down? Somewhere. Okay. Okay, I'm sure we'll work this all out. Hey, anybody want some fries and beans? Anyway, Marleen Smith and Susan Evans, everybody. Hey, but we're not done this evening because our second performer is Carol Klyce in Flight Risk. You know, I've got to tell you the truth. I only have the information from part one. But for those of you who weren't here, I'll just tell you what part one was so you'll know that we won't be doing part one. In part one of her story, Carol recounted her life as a runaway from a girls' group home and then her escape from a juvenile correction facility. We learned how a 13-year-old girl could survive 6 years on her own. And now we're going to find out what happened after that. Please welcome Carol Klyce.
For the past 3.5 years, I have been a fugitive from juvenile correction. I have spent the first 3 years disguised as a boy, working in the kitchens of restaurants all over New Jersey, also migrant worker camp. But now I get to be myself, a girl. I'm very resourceful. So my last job was at Paul's, authentic Italian restaurant in Jersey City, New Jersey. I really liked it there. I was working for Macy, the chef, in the kitchen. And I thought I would stay there forever. But there was something kind of strange about this place. Paul had his private dining room in a bunker under the restaurant. And his friends who came to eat with him there, they belonged to a special club called the Cosa Nostra. His father, Ricky, had an ice cream truck, but there was no ice cream in the ice cream truck. At nighttime, Ricky would take people in the ice cream truck with him, and then I would never see them again. They took Macy in the ice cream truck. And the next day, Paul came and he said, Carrie, you must cook for us now because Macy went on a vacation and I don't think he's coming back. You'll have to fill in until we get a new chef. This doesn't sound right. Why would Paul have a 16-year-old half-Irish girl cooking in Paul's authentic Italian restaurant? I reach in my pocket. I pull out a note. It's from Macy. Carrie, Paul and his friends are very dangerous people. I'm not on vacation. You will never see me again. You must get out of there. Cosa Nostra. Mafia. Ma. Run! So here I am in disguise in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And I just got a job at a beach resort hotel. I'm working as a waitress. And I'm living in the hotel's dorm for employees. It's great. They take care of everything. You have a uniform, they do the laundry, they feed you, and I feel safe here. So I'm working with mostly college students. Hey, and my new name is Kira. And I have dyed my hair red, which is actually my natural color. Kira, where do you go to college? I'm embarrassed. I haven't been in a classroom since I was 13. I'm still in high school. I work the breakfast and the dinner shift. So that leaves us free. I can go to the beach with some of the college students during the daytime. I have my ponytail and I even bought a bikini. And I look like the other girls, but I'm not really one of the other girls. So when we sit around, I just listen. I haven't had the opportunity to hang out with girlfriends. And they sit there and they talk about dates and boys and movies and makeup and zits and periods, when they got their period. Most of them when they were 13 or 14. And cramps. There must be something wrong with me because I've never had a period or cramps. I like hanging out with the guys because I'm really good at body surfing and beach sports. Every night and on Saturday, they have dances at the Steel Pier. And I love to dance. And I like to go down and watch the teenagers dancing. Percy, one of the waiters that I work with, he'll be a junior in college in the fall. He likes to dance too. So we start going down to the Steel Pier whenever we have a chance. Percy signed us up to be in a dance contest at summertime on the pier. He comes out and he tells me, so I have our new outfit. Pink? Yes. And he has a pink shirt. We are the duo of Percy and Pinky. Pinky? I don't want to be Pinky. Listen, this is really good marketing. You know, I mean, we're going to stand out. We have these pink outfits and we're Percy and Pinky. I was so excited about this contest. I didn't think that there might be consequences involved. I was having the time of my life this summer. I was going dancing, I was going to the beach, and I was like a normal 16-year-old teenager. Well, not really, but at least I could pretend for a while. So on the day of the contest, I'm a little bit nervous, but then we start. And Percy, he's twirling me around, and he's throwing me up in the air, and I'm landing in a split, and then he drags my ponytail across the floor, spins me around. I'm breathless. Oh my God, we won! He picks me up and he kisses me. And I've never been kissed, so I don't know if I like this, but oh my God. There are two newspaper reporters coming toward us with cameras. And I turn and I run. I can't have my picture in the paper. What if the mob sees it? What if somebody recognizes me? I feel like somebody just knocked the air out of me. When Percy got back to the hotel, he was furious. What is wrong with you? Why did you run away? Where did you come from? Who are you? Hotel closes after Labor Day. All the college students are going back to school. I'm not going back to school. I don't know where I'm going or what I'm going to do when I get there. December 23rd, 1965, and I am working at Nick the Greek's Diner on Route 202 outside of Westchester, Pennsylvania. I work the night shift with Flo and Shorty the cook, but it's been snowing all day. Flo's here with her son, Paul, because it's Christmas vacation for him. And we have our resident drunk, Charlie, sleeping in one of the booths. And then we have our resident insomniac, Professor Lynn from the State College. And he's talking to Mike, one of the truck drivers, about the weather conditions outside. My boss, Nate, calls, and he said he can't come because the snow plows can't get through to his house, and that Shorty won't be there either. And that I am the designated cook and I won't have any customers tonight, so I should clean the grill. And that I should send Flo home because he doesn't want to pay somebody for doing nothing. So we are all just sitting there looking at each other. And I look out the window and I see this blue car slide into the parking lot. And somebody gets out and they're wearing a fur coat and a fur hat. And they come toward the diner and they come inside, take off the coat, take off the hat, shake it out. It's a woman. And she's about 5'9", blonde shoulder length hair, nice heart-shaped face with big blue eyes. And she sits down at the counter and she said, I sure could use a cup of black coffee. You know, we're all going to be friends here for a while. My name's Edie. The snow plows can't get through, and state police are sending folks your way. By 1 o'clock in the morning, we had over 130 strangers who were stranded. I'm cooking. Flo and Paul are taking orders. Edie is hosting. She's taking care of all the people. We were so busy, we couldn't even think. About 3 o'clock in the morning, Edie comes into the kitchen, and I have the men in there chopping up stuff for breakfast in the morning doing the prep. How you all holding up? Oh, we're fine. And Edie, thank you so much for helping us. Oh, sugar. Why don't you take a rest? Well, why don't you take a rest? Oh, well, you know what? I have worked my entire adult life in Las Vegas. Really? What did you do there? I was a showgirl. Did you wear one of those big headdresses with feathers? I sure did. Wasn't it heavy? Oh, yeah. But you can use it. Now, listen. These poor folks, they're going to want some comfort and a holiday for their children. And we're going to give it to them. We're going to give them a family Christmas. The next day, Edie and Professor Lynn organized Christmas Eve. And I took some of the women and children into the kitchen, and we made cookies, and we made cakes, and we cooked up a storm, and we had a lovely, wonderful Christmas Eve dinner. We sang Christmas carols. Professor Lynn told the story to the children about the night before Christmas. The next morning, I look out. It's still snowing. It's been snowing since the 23rd. This is the 25th. I could keep these people warm. I could keep them fed. But I didn't know what to do about the morale. It was crowded. We had children, we had babies, and it was really tough. So Edie has a dance party with a jukebox. Everybody's having a good time. Playing contest, numbers, the whole bit. Professor Lynn finds some cards, and he gets the guys playing poker, different card games. And Charlie the drum and Paul, Flo's son, they're playing games with the little kids. I can't believe it. And Flo and I took over rocking babies and playing with the babies so the mamas could have a break. Some of the men came into the kitchen and helped cook our Christmas dinner. And just as we sat down for Christmas dinner, the lights went up. But we had candles, and it was quite lovely. And Professor Lynn told the Christmas story. And it told the story about Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus. And it seemed fitting. And then people started telling their own versions of their Christmas stories, their Christmas fact. I looked out the window. It had stopped snowing. I went outside, took a big breath of the frigid air. Big moon, sparkly stars. I looked down, and the snow is looking beautiful, just sparkling. And I'm thinking, we were a bunch of misfits. Professor Lynn, Charlie the drunk, Flo, her son, Edie, the ex-showgirl, and me. And we took care of these people. And we helped them. And I felt so good inside. Somebody tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned around. Hey, sugar. Hi, Edie. Sugar, you must be really upset that you didn't get to spend Christmas with your family. Edie, I don't have a family, and I don't celebrate Christmas. Me neither, sugar. I haven't had a family since I was 18. I think we have something in common. Edie, where are you going to go Well, I'll know when I get there. Sugar, you did such a wonderful job taking care of these folks. You created a Christmas that they'll never forget. Oh, Edie, we all did, and I could have never done it without you. We make a good team. Why don't you stay here? Maybe I will. Next morning, the state police came in, said snow plows had opened some of the roads, and people started saying their goodbyes and hugs and thanks and all that kind of stuff. And I was exhausted, so I just laid down in the booth and went to sleep. Somebody was shaking me, and I woke up. It's Paul. That's my boss. Nick, wake up. Nick, where's Edie? Who? Edie, the Los Angeles showgirl who helped us. Where is she? There's no Edie here. And I look down at my lap, and I am covered with a white fluffy blanket that says Caesar Palace, Las Vegas. And it's got a note on it. Dear Christmas Carol, thank you for the best Christmas I've ever had. And I think I've found a home right here at Nick's Diner. I'll see you in a few days. Happy new life. Love, Edie. April 1966. And I am renting a room in a house in Chadsford, Pennsylvania. Beautiful countryside. And I have a job in the laundry of the county old folks home, which is right next door to the county prison. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, my landlord is the assistant warden. But I'm not worried. I'm not worried because I figure at this point, nobody's looking for me, and I'm going to be 18 in January. And I figured the state of Pennsylvania doesn't give a rat's ass about me. I did them a favor. I saved them a lot of money. My boss is this wonderful Black man. He's about 6 feet tall, slim, shaved head, goatee, soft brown eyes. And his name's Roosevelt. And Roosevelt drives by the place where I live. Since we're out in the country, there aren't too many buses. So he stops and picks me up, and he takes me back and forth to work. And on the way, we chat. The one thing I noticed about Chadsford is it's very white. There are no people of color working at the county hospital, and I haven't seen any around the area. Roosevelt, where did you grow up? Right here. Right here in this county. My father worked as caretaker on a horse farm. I was the only Black child at school, and I didn't have many friends. My only friend really was the boss's son, John. And when we graduated from high school, John went to college and I joined the Army. How did that make you feel? Oh, I'm used to it. How about you? Where'd you come from? Here and there. Huh? What about your folks? I don't have any folks. Huh? Who raised you? I raised myself. How? Well, I had a variety of jobs and I just went to work. It's a long story. What about school? I haven't been in a school classroom since I was 13. What? The next day, when Roosevelt came to pick me up, he had a bag and he handed it to me. And inside the bag were some books. There was a history book, a math book, there were textbooks, an English book. Now at lunchtime, we're going to study. Roosevelt, you have a whole lot of books. Are you going to school? Yes, I go to night school, going to college. I'm not going to be a laundry supervisor for the rest of my life. Well, when I turn 18, I am going to go to high school and get a high school diploma, and I'm not going to be a laundry worker for the rest of my life. Roosevelt, how do you get a Social Security card? Well, you have a birth certificate? No. You need that. Well, where do I get it? I'll look into it. So Roosevelt and I studied. We'd sit at the table and we would study, and he would give me quizzes, and he would give me other books to read for English class. And he would teach me things when we were driving back and forth to work, like the music he would play, I'd never heard before. Roosevelt, what is this music? Jazz. Well, what kind of music do you like? Motown. What? We got along really well. The only thing that he did that annoyed me was every day he would make cheese crackers with peanut butter and sardines on it. And he would make me eat them because he said it was brain food. So disgusting. I'm in the nurse's lounge, looking out the window, snowing. Open the window, take a deep breath. I feel so light and free. Today is my 18th birthday. I'm free. For the past 6 years, I have lived a life, I've seen things and witnessed things that nobody my age should ever have to do. There are children out there in the world who have experiences that you would never even imagine. They're constantly looking around for the danger, for the enemy. They're not safe at home. They're battered, they're beaten, they're abandoned, they're thrown out like the trash. A lot of those kids end up being drug addicts, dealing drugs. They get into prostitution, sometimes slavery. So many of them die. So many of them end up in institutions, correctional, mental hospitals. They're disposable. They're treated like a disposable item. They're human beings. I feel both sad for those children, and at the same time, I beat the odds. I survived. The court said that I was incorrigible and I was incapable of being fixed. So they sent me to juvenile correction. And they decided that since they couldn't fix me in correction, I should spend the rest of my life in a mental institution. And that's why I ran away. I wasn't incorrigible. I was resilient. I was smart. I did everything that I could to be here now. And I'm proud of the person that I raised. My grandfather, Tata, told me when I was 6 years old that no matter what happened, I would survive. And I did. Hey, Carol, happy birthday. Roosevelt. The present for you. Hands me an envelope. Open it up. My birth certificate. Is it real? Yeah. Well, how did you get it? I have my resources. Are you CIA? No. This is gonna help you get on with the rest of your life. With this, you'll be able to get your Social Security card. You'll be able to have a legal ID. This is going to open that whole new world for you. One more thing. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Oh, shit. He's got a plate of those disgusting cheese crackers and a kilo on the top. Well, I guess you're going to be leaving us now. Yeah. It's time to forget about the past and move on to my new life. Roosevelt, when are you going to start yours? Yeah.
It's the heartbreak, I know will come, 'cause I know you're looking for me, but you become a part of me. Everywhere I go, your face I see, every step I take, you take with me. Yeah. Nowhere to run, baby, nowhere to hide. Got nowhere to run, baby. Nowhere to hide. I know you're no good for me. With three of you, I'll never be. No. Each night as I sleep, into my heart you creep. I wake up feeling sorry I met you. Hoping soon that I'll forget you. Run in the mirror, look on my face. I see your face just a smiling face. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide from this place. Got nowhere to run, baby.
Right, we'll put this way.
I know you're no good for me, but you become a part of me. How can I fight a love that shouldn't be? When it's so deep,
One phone.
so deep, deep inside of me.
I mean, even if I get up, like,
Reaches so high, I can't get over it. It's so wide, I can't get around it. Oh, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide from you, babe. Just can't get away from you, baby. No matter how I try.
I'm gonna be a pass.
I know you're no good for me. The three of you will never be. Nowhere to run, baby.
Okay, how about another round of
Nowhere to run, baby. Nowhere to hide. Nowhere to run.
Yeah.
Come on.
We have to move forward?
Yeah. Got me into the light.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. We have got a lot of folks here tonight. I'm sure we've got some questions. We'll take about 15 or 20 minutes. Let's get the first question. There we go, sir.
I just want to know what happened next, because you're 18, you're emancipated. Where do you go?
You'll have to tune into the nest.
Yeah.
It's going to be a, you know, a series.
When was the last time you had a sardine here?
Nonsense. No, I can't stand the smell.
Yeah, me neither.
Carol, you made it, and you made it despite people who said incorrigible and never amount to. And did you ever reach back to any of those people, or feel like reaching back to them and saying, "I want you to remember," or something to that effect?
Unfortunately, a lot of the people that I was in contact with along the way, they didn't survive. And one time, after I turned 18, I was working in a restaurant at a country club that was open. The restaurant was open to the public. And there was a woman there that I kind of recognized with a group of women. She was having lunch. And then I realized who she was. Her name was Miss Bailey. And she was the teacher at juvenile correction.
Oh, wow.
And we had 1 hour of school a day. And I was her assistant because I could read and write. And the other girls, for the most part, couldn't.
Wow.
And Miss Bailey remembered me.
Wow.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
You were able to reach back. I mean, you mentioned your grandfather in part one.
Mhm.
In part one, you also said what he had told you. The
Yes.
words of, I mean, that was your
Yeah.
bulwark. That was so much of your strength. Were you ever able to reach back to people who encouraged you, even during your 6-year period, and saying, "I'm still out here. Don't worry about
No.
it. Can't."
No. I didn't.
Did you meet people, young people like you, 16 and 17-year-olds who were hiding in plain sight like you were?
Well, in the first part, when I talk about working as a boy in the kitchens of restaurants,
Right.
One thing that made it easier for me to survive was I was white. If I'd been a black child, I wouldn't have been able to have those kind of jobs. They weren't hired. And at that time in New Jersey, there were some, Puerto Rican kids, Hispanic kids, and then the migrant workers were Mexican or from that area. But no, for the most part, the boys that I met, they were kids who grew up on farms. Their parents gave them away to people. They threw them out of the house. They had drunk fathers or whatever. And what I found out a little bit later was that a lot of those boys ended up joining the army when they would, get fake papers when they were 16 and join the army.
Right.
They were the early Vietnam kids.
Right.
Yes.
All right, next question, please. Go.
What's the origin story of the AI conversation? Can you tell me how you came to that wonderful juxtaposition of conversation and thought, or lack of thought, please?
I think it felt topical. As we wrote in the introduction, everybody is talking about all things AI, much gnashing of teeth. Even the do-nothing Congress is attempting to pass legislation associated with it. And it has made forays into so many areas of our lives. And because both of us are mental health professionals, and there is such a thing as a chat bot, as an AI, therapist who's programmed to say, "I understand that's how you are. How can I help you? Take a warm bath, etc." It just seemed that it was right up our alley here to just do a spoof on it.
Have you two worked together this way before? Or is this?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we've done this is our 7th show here.
Oh,
Yeah, right here on the stage.
You always wear that hat, you do?
He's jealous.
right. What the?
He's jealous of your.
Yeah, of course, everybody would be.
I might sell it later.
Good option.
There you go.
Carol,
Yes.
do you do any work with homeless children now, or runaways?
Whenever I see one that I know is new.
Mm.
Try to get them to Larkin Street. And it's interesting to see the kids out there, you know.
You could recognize them, I'm sure. Right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I found a young girl one time hiding in the bushes next door to the Gap headquarters. And she was kind of hiding there, and I went by there a couple of times and finally asked her, you know, and she said, yeah, I had to leave. And I said, well, you don't need to be on the street because you're not going to last, you know, 4 days. And got in a cab with her into Larkin Street, and they took her in. But if the kids are there too long, you know, they're absorbed by the homeless population, the drug addicts, whatever.
Traffickers.
Yeah. So I mean, the good thing to me is that when they passed the law that you could not kick the kid out of foster care at 18. That was a huge thing because those kids, they had nothing, nowhere to go. I mean, they would just, you're 18, go.
Yeah, yes.
And now that's not the case, so they don't have to.
Carol and I had never met before we performed here, but I worked at Larkin Street.
Yeah, and that's what she's.
And I've been a mental health in the psychiatric unit, so our paths have essentially crossed.
Yes.
Not exactly.
Yeah, if I'd gone to the mental hospital, she would have been there. Very nice. Yeah.
Good.
But thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Just one thing, but first let me double check that there is no more questions in the audience. If someone has one, please ask it. All right,
We're good.
Being none, I'm just going to do what we always do at the end of the Q&A, which is to ask for people who enjoyed your performance and want to know more about you, how do they find you? We'll start with Marleen.
How do they find us?
Oh, well, we have a link which can be, maybe we'll send it to the Marsh. It's called Catch a Sketch, with K as catch instead of C. And it has all of our shows on it. As I said, there's 7, this is the 7th one, but they're all different. So maybe the Marsh can put the link on their website. Would that work?
But if you want to tell us what it is one more time, we'd love to share it tonight.
This is our general manager, Kevin.
Hi.
Hi.
So if you want to
The
say the
YouTube channel, sorry.
yeah, if you want to say the YouTube sketch name again, please.
Yeah, it's called Catch a Sketch. I don't know how easy it is to get it. I've been sending the link to people. Catch with K-E-T-C-H. I guess you could get
Catch a
it.
sketch on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Or just send it. Wait.
Yes. Catch a sketch on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen.
There you
Okay.
And Carol.
Oh, okay. Well, you can find me at Creole. Spell it. Spell Creole, CREOLEK 1954 @ yahoo.com.
Yeah.
You can find me on YouTube. I have a couple of shows on YouTube. One is My Life is a Riot. The other is my medical mystery tour. Yeah, so those are there. And my husband Henry, he handles all the publicity. Yeah, and please come back to the Marsh because there's some wonderful shows. And if you can't come back to Marsh, stream them because we've got very, very talented people who work here, do their shows here, and some incredible stuff. And during COVID, one of the programs that the Marsh started doing was Art Heals. And there's some very interesting shows on Art Heals to watch. And You can see, you know, some of our other performers. Lots of things have been happening. So check out the website. Lots of things going on here. And now that we're kind of finished, we hope, with COVID, we'll have even more things happen.
Yeah.